Hello everyone, good day. I'm Klarenz, and together with my partner Laren, we are going to discuss Module 4, the theories of truth, and Module 5, your obligation as a critical thinker found in Acuña's Unit 2, analysis of knowledge claims. So, let's start. In Module 4, we have the theories of truth. For our first theory, we have the coherence theory of truth. This theory uses reason to verify formal claims. Thus, it is the only theory that the rationalists accept. Also, this theory is mostly about the consistency of the claim with the system. The claim should cohere with the larger system of knowledge. For example, the mathematical claim 5 plus 7 is equal to 12 encompasses mathematical coherence along with the formal system of arithmetic. Some other systems that use coherence theory are symbolic logic, geometric, and linguistic systems. However, the coherence theory of truth has criticisms. Here is Laren to discuss these criticisms.
Before we proceed, these are only some examples of the criticisms of this theory. There are a few others, but we will discuss only the more popular ones. And this part is not included in the module, but we thought we'd insert this in our presentation because it would help in understanding the difference between the two theories even more. So the first criticism, and the main one, is its inconsistency. This is because coherence theory might be based on a person's belief, and as we all know, beliefs can differ from one person to another. Critics have also pointed out that there is no one set of belief that encompasses everything, and on which we can base the truth or falsehood of all the statements. An example of this inconsistency is the statement that 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Now we have been taught that 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 since we were kids. We have experienced this. We know that when you have two objects and add another two objects to those, you have 4. However, a person who has been taught that 2 plus 2 is equal to 5 and has experienced this statement will believe that 2 plus 2 is equal to 5. Therefore, it will cohere with his belief system, and he will therefore accept it as true. So this is just one example of the inconsistency that can happen when you use only this theory. The next is the transcendence objection. It states that truth transcends any set of beliefs. This just means that truth sometimes does not cohere and does not have to cohere with one or more set of beliefs. Basically, a truth must stand on its own, and the nature of coherence theory makes that impossible. The next is the specification objection, which was made by Bertrand Russell in 1907. He states that coherence theorists have no way to identify the specified set of propositions without contradicting their position. This can happen when they have two contradictory statements, because two contradictory statements can each cohere with a set of propositions. And as we have learned from the previous modules, contradictory statements cannot both be true at the same time. And this objection also states that the mere coherence of propositions could not guarantee truth, since all propositions could be false. This happens when the knowledge used to verify the proposition are false themselves. Next is the logic objection, which was also made by Bertrand Russell. He states that coherence presupposes the laws of logic. This is similar to the transcendence objection because it says that the laws of logic must be independently true, and as we have established in the previous objection, this cannot be proven only using coherence theory.
For our second theory, we have correspondence theory of truth. So, if coherence theory uses reason, correspondence theory, on the other hand, uses senses. It uses senses to prove empirical or analytic claims. For example, the cat is on the mat. First, it should be established that there is a presence of a cat and a mat. Second, it should correspond to the situation that there is a cat sitting on top of the mat. Thus, if we dissect the example, it is seen that the theory is actually based on reality and state of affairs. Let us now proceed to the realist version of this theory.
Thank you, Clarence. Now, Mr. Acuña has introduced another version of correspondence theory, which is based on realism. He said that this version can prove not only empirical claims but also evaluative claims. and it is found in almost all naturally evolved languages. This is divided into four parts, and we'll start with the easiest one, which are claims about the present. Claims about the present should be proven based on direct observation or using the five senses. For example, if I say that the wall behind me is white, if you're here right now, you would only have to use your eyes to verify whether what I'm saying is true or not. And this goes with all other statements that are made about the present. Next are claims about the future. And this theory says that these predictions should be based on past regularities. The easiest example for this would be the statement that the sun will rise tomorrow, which is based on the fact that the sun has risen yesterday and all the days before that, which makes it fairly reasonable to expect that the sun will also rise tomorrow. Another broader example I can think of is the way we predict seasons and solstices. It did not require modern science to predict these patterns. Uh, Ancient societies have known these cycles for thousands of years, and that's because of their observation over long periods of time. They were able to make um, fairly accurate predictions based on those regularities that they have observed. Next are claims about the past. The theory says that it should be based on historical accounts, which are documents or eyewitnesses. This is a hot topic, and we have learned that in our history subject that historical accounts should stand on evidence. So people should remember that if it's just chismes or memories or a baseless TikTok video, they should remember not to believe in those because those are not considered historical accounts. Lastly, we have generalization, and it should be based on a representative sample. This representative sample should be based on the gravity of the generalization that is being made. We will not discuss this any further because it will be tackled more on Unit 4. Okay, now we have verification by intersubjective consensus.
To understand the verification by intersubjective consensus, let us break down the terms. Intersubjective means it is shared by more than one conscious mind, while consensus means general agreement. Now, let's have this evaluative claim as an example. Stealing is wrong. Whenever we hear the claim stealing is wrong, we often agree. We agree because we are taught that the idea of stealing is actually morally incorrect. Thus, our acceptance to the idea is then backed by a strong intersubjective consensus or the generalization of people's moral belief towards the idea of stealing. Hence, the strength of an evaluative claim rests on the strength of the intersubjective consensus of the concerned public or audience. In addition, a strong intersubjective consensus can be observed if all statements that are parallel to the claim are accepted. Like, if we accept the claim, plagiarism is wrong, we shall then accept the claim, do not plagiarize is right.
That is all for Module 4. Now we will proceed to Module 5, which is entitled Your Obligations as a Critical Thinker. In this module, we will learn how to exercise critical thinking. It will discuss our obligations as learners of philosophy. It also tackles the three realms of knowledge on which we can base our judgment of statements. Lastly, we will present the benefits of being a critical thinker in our daily lives. Before all this, I want to define what critical thinking is, or what it means to become a critical thinker. A critical thinker analyzes and evaluates the truth or falsehood of a statement before believing it. A critical thinker also judges based on evidence and demands adequacy and accuracy of information. Lastly, a critical thinker has healthy skepticism. They don't believe a statement just because it is said by a person in authority or just because the majority of people believe that statement. They accept a statement because it is evidence based and it has been proven to be true. As critical thinkers, we do have obligations. To explain this, we have Klarenz.
Our obligations as critical thinkers. It is the most important lesson in Philosophy 1, according to Mr. Acuna. But what are our obligations? First, as critical thinkers, we shall always reject or put a pause to our judgment at times that the claim lacks evidence. And second, we shall always be a healthy skeptic. It is beneficial for the rest of our lives. We must always be at question to the convention as it will help us distinguish faults and eventually correct them.
As I have mentioned earlier, there are three realms of knowledge. It would be very helpful as critical thinkers to know the distinction among the three of them, because it would be very helpful in determining whether we should believe a statement or not based on where that statement falls on these three realms. Let's start with the realm of the known. Information on this realm are based on empirical evidence and observation. Uh, all information are also proven beyond doubt. This includes all facts about the universe. Now, the facts that we know right now were once in the realm of the knowable. Some example of these are DNA testing and animal cloning. 6 years ago, scientists were only theorizing about the possibility of these. But as we know right now, these processes are possible and doable using science. Clarence, would you please explain the next realm?
Continuing, we have the realm of the knowable. It is the realm that the sciences are currently exploring. This is the realm where claims are in the process of thorough examination. It is the extrapolation from the known. Some examples are the continuous study on the origin of the universe and the origin of life on Earth. To discuss the final realm, we have Laren.
Lastly, we have the realm of the unknowable. This realm includes all unprovable claims, which means no evidence can be produced to prove those claims. For example, there is heaven and hell. We cannot provide evidence to prove or disprove that statement. And Mr. Acuna said that if the claim is empirical, but no evidence can be produced, either in fact or principle, it is our responsibility to immediately reject the claim. He also said that if the claim is evaluative, the evidence is the strength of intersubjective consensus, which has been discussed earlier. Now that we are done with the distinctions, Clarence, do you mind stating the benefits of being a critical thinker?
As we near to the conclusion of our report, let us now tackle the benefits of being a critical thinker. If we are to be a critical thinker, we will not accept statements that are unprovable. Second, even though that the person stating the claim is at authority, we will be able to practice healthy skepticism and therefore will not accept the statement. Also, we will accumulate beliefs that are based on evidence. And of course, besides being a critical thinker, we will as well become an independent thinker.
To end this presentation, we have lifted a quote from our textbook. We believe that this quote will be a helpful guide in becoming a better critical thinker. And we hope that this is the one thing that you remember from our presentation. The quote goes, "As a critical thinker, accept the truth of the beliefs in the realm of the known, suspend judgment if the belief is in the realm of the knowable, and reject all beliefs in the realm of the unknowable." That quote should help you in making better decisions, not just in philosophy, but also in our daily lives. That is all for our presentation. Thank you very much for listening. We hope that you have learned something from the two modules that we have discussed. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment them below this post or direct them to me or my partner. We will try to answer that the best we can. Once again, thank you so much, and we'll see you on our next synchronous meeting.